right into the NBA. That's why I feel like with the NBA. We'll kind of go over the draft really quick just because it recently happened, last Wednesday?
Yeah.
Winners, losers, who do you think? Anything good?
I just thought it was kind of cool. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but the first overall pick, it was 2 years in a row, a player from France.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
I also saw this thing. It was like all the MVPs and where they're from. And if you looked at like from the 80s to now, or I guess the 80s to 2010, like solely United States.
Yeah.
Like that's all it was. There was like one player in like the 90s maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, like the past 5 years have all been like foreign-born players. I think that might have been the United States might have been mixed in there, but it's just interesting to see that how the United States is lacking. No, I mean it's just one.
Well, yeah, it's very good, but yeah, you still have Jason Tatum and some of these other guys who are superstars. I mean, obviously, like Anthony Davis when he's healthy is unreal. You know, LeBron's still LeBron sometimes. You still have very, very good American players, but you are seeing the way. It's funny because everyone's always like, "Oh yeah, U.S. soccer's." I'm like, you guys don't.
Soccer's not there yet.
We're not even close. Yeah. Like I hope we win the whole thing, but we're not going to.
And then Alex Sarr went number 2 to the Wizards, which I think the last lottery pick was John Wall. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of cool to see them go back out there. And he was projected to go number 1. So
yeah, I mean, they literally like changed like the day before for something. I don't know.
So we'll see. And then
I agree.
Zach Edey. It's always interesting.
Did you see the meme of him and John Morant? Yeah. John Morant had the what is it? It's not. What is it? It's what movie is it? Oh no, I'm gonna blank on it. It's with Jackie Chan.
Like when he was at home.
No,
it was so funny. But
keep going. I'll figure it out. I can't think of what. I don't know what. Rush Hour. It's Rush Hour.
Yeah.
And I'm blanking on everything. I can't figure this all out.
I don't remember which scene.
What's his name? The black guy. He's
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker goes up into the big. They're in the dojo or whatever. And that huge Asian guy goes, "Holy hell!" And he looks up and he put that on Instagram with Zach Edey, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, awesome. That's so funny!"
But
very funny. I'm excited to see both of them together. I think that's a really cool fit.
I always like to see when I think most people would agree he was the best player in college last year, like overall.
Sure.
Just to see where they go. Yeah. Like you would, without thinking, like you would think you'd go number 1.
Maybe. I mean, I think
just like it's always interesting to see how those players fall.
He's a system guy for sure. I mean, it's like Drew Timme. Like Drew Timme was so good at Gonzaga, and he didn't get drafted.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not like a for sure fire thing. It's just always
it is a for sure fire thing when you're 7'6". Well, you're gonna get drafted, and you might not be first, but you're gonna get. It's like the guy who just signed for Florida. He's 7'9". From IMG Academy. I was like, holy moly! I agree.
Yeah, I have a couple other ones, but
Well, I think the biggest steal, which then they kind of felt. I mean, it was the best pick that they could take, and then they fell off at the end. The Lakers did a really good job with Dalton Kennich.
Yeah,
he was so good for Tennessee last year. So fun to watch. The fact he dropped to 17, I thought was awesome for them. He was projected to be like
the highest was 6.
Yeah,
was the high. Yeah,
and he dropped to 17. Yeah. That was crazy.
Almost 22 points, almost 40% from 3.
He was good.
And then there was a lot of people would argue between him and Zach Edey.
100% for last year. Well, the year before he was at a.
It's JUCO. I think.
No, it's not JUCO. It was
I read it. Where was that?
It's a. What do you call them, Kellen? Why am I blanking on these things? This is the sport I know and love.
Community college?
No, Eastern Washington, FBS, whatever. It wasn't. I think it was North Dakota State, but I could be totally wrong.
I did read that, but
he was not. Everyone looked at him and was like he was a transfer, and he just kind of took off.
Yeah.
Which I also gave colleges University of Northern Colorado. I knew it was over here somewhere. I agree. I think that was the biggest steal, and then the Lakers I think fell completely apart when they picked Bronny. We'll talk about Bronny in a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Donovan Killian was great for Portland at 7. I like that pick a lot. They needed a big. He's a big. I think he's good. I agree with you. Zach and Ja, I think, are going to be crazy. I think the Jazz got a steal at 32 with Filipowski. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you heard his family issues off the court's crazy.
Oh, no. Is that the guy that doesn't talk to his family?
Yeah, so that's a crazy story that's broken out where he supposedly had it. There was a babysitter who babysat him, and she was
like 12 and she was 19 or
something like that. And they started dating, I think, when he was 19 and she was like 26. She's Mormon. And again, I have no idea. And I don't think the people writing the story have no idea. His parents and mom and dad, or his mom and brother, have tweeted out things, but it sounded like she groomed him to follow the LDS and now that he's in the she kind of knew.
Yeah.
Maybe in a way, and I don't want to say that. I don't know. I'm not going to try to judge her. I don't know. That's what the story says. And yeah, he doesn't talk to his family at all. And I think that because people had him going like in the 20s and the teens, and supposedly it dropped off. And I think that was a big issue. Was people?
Yeah, that was interesting. I forgot about
that. I also think Utah. I believe if I double check this, where's my draft one? I think they also snagged another guy who I really liked. Yeah, Isaiah Collier out of USC. Was a freshman last year. It was annoying because he played against the Wazoo. He was so good. He's so good. He's a strong, just guard. He can shoot. He just looked. I was shocked that he was dropped so low. Those were kind of my big ones. Obviously, Jalen Wells got drafted from Wazoo. I thought that's a cool story. Kind of reminds me of Dalton. He was a JUCO he was a D2 player last year. Came to Washington State. Didn't even get minutes towards like halfway through the year. And then they started to play him. And, I think that there is a benefit to being 6'7" and a wing. It's hard to find players like that these days, but just kind of a cool story. It's like you go from D2 to Wazoo, not a big basketball school. We make the tournament for the first time since 2008. He plays super good. He beats Arizona. He has that game-winning 3 down in Arizona, which was awesome. And he gets drafted 39 to the Grizzlies. I don't know if he'll be very good or not. He's obviously a draft pick, which is big.
Yeah.
I think I like it. I mean, I'm obviously super excited because I'm biased, but I think he's going to be a hard worker, and I think he'll surprise some players a little bit and some teams. And then I only had 2 other ones, unless you have. I'll give you a chance.
I just have the last.
Okay. So the only other 2 I had was Antoine Watson from Gonzaga. Obviously, a Pacific Northwest basketball guy. I've seen Watson for a long time. He was from Spokane. He went to Gonzaga Prep, went to Gonzaga. He's like full-blown Gonzaga. Great pick for Boston. I think he's a big that can stretch the floor a little bit. He's going to be a good player. I think he's a hard worker. The one that I was the most upset about was Isaac Jones. Obviously, again, Wazoo guy. He had a great combine. And I think what made me more mad, he went undrafted to the Kings, is the fact that, and I know the Lakers, I get why you take Bronny because you want to keep your dad. But I look at this whole situation with Bronny, and I'll let you say it afterwards after I say this, but I think this whole situation is for LeBron and not for Bronny.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is sad because I think that this is more of a LeBron's the first father-son duo. It's more LeBron's legacy because I in the nicest way possible, Bronny is a good basketball player. He's better than I ever was. I'll never be that good. He's not good enough for the NBA yet. Dude, he's a year or 2 out. He averaged 6 points.
4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists in just under 20 minutes.
And it's not like he was
6 starts. He didn't even start.
And you have to remember too, he also had a heart issue.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of people I think forgot the fact that, hey, this kid at 20, if he even is 20 yet, has a heart issue. He's being taken away from the game and now he's coming back. And he's averaging those numbers. He's not on Duke. He's not the 6th man, 7th man at Duke. He's at USC. USC is poop at basketball right now. They have been good in the past. But when I look at it, obviously I love the Cougs. When Washington State could beat you, I believe twice. I think actually we might have lost them at home. But when I watch those games, because I watch every Washington game that's ever on TV, I was never impressed. And I think, to me, I look at it and I feel bad for Bronny because I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is. LeBron wants to be the first father-son to throw an alley-oop, father-son to have an assist on a game winner, father-son to make the playoffs, father-son to win the whole thing, father-son. But once LeBron retires in 2 years,
he's going to go away.
Unless Bronny turns something around.
Well, he's undersized. That's the problem. He's 6'4", which is crazy. That's undersized. But
he's 4 inches shorter than his dad.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
He's just not.
He's not. He can't shoot well enough.
I would have been fine with it 2 years down the road. If he proved himself in college, sure. I don't care. Cool. You have a nice last name.
Well, I find it
he didn't improve himself in college at all.
And I find it so interesting. Rich Paul, LeBron's buddy, who's also his agent, basically called every team and was like, don't draft Bronny. If you draft him, we're going to Australia. Besides the Lakers. And then I also look at that and I go, then why do the Lakers waste a draft pick on him?
Yeah, they just signed him.
Try him as an undrafted free agent. Who cares? Why wouldn't they go get an Isaac Jones, who's a much better basketball player than him? Type thing. I don't understand it. It does kind of bug me because I don't think that's fair for Bronny more. And I feel like more people are like, oh, this will be so exciting. But it's like, you're all talking about LeBron. How does Bronny feel about this?
I mean, I'm sure Bronny's stoked.
Sure, he's going to the NBA for a year to play in the league, and then he's going to get cut.
He's just not there yet.
He's
going to spend time in the G League because I don't. If he makes the roster
going to make the roster.
There's no.
He's going to make the roster as the last player, 100%. He'll play garbage minutes, and his dad will want to play garbage minutes. And it was funny, but it was sad because someone was saying they'll play garbage minutes together, and LeBron will get hurt.
Yeah, probably.
And you have JJ Redick, you have a new coach coming. And JJ Redick, of course, is trying to sell it. Oh, yeah, he's going to be so good.
I mean, he did look good at the combine. He looked a lot better than he did in college.
Well, that's fair. But even like in NBA experts, they all said kind of the same thing you just said. He's too small. He can't shoot. He's not fast enough. He can't create his own shot.
Yeah.
There's just a different level to the NBA from college and college to anything. It's just, it's insane to me that you can, I don't know. It's whatever. Yeah. It's not, in my opinion, it's not going to change it. I think it's a bummer, but I think it's more of a bummer for Bronny because I just think that situation, he's being used. And I think it's funny because his brother, Bryce, I think is his name, who's I don't know if he's a junior this year. He looks so much better.
Yeah.
Goggles and all. Nice. So that was kind of the draft. I think there's a lot kind of going on. Obviously, you'll be seeing a Jalen Wells jersey at some point come up here. Maybe an Isaac Jones if he makes the team. Well, obviously, if both of them make the teams. Thanks for listening to the Kind of Athletic podcast. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials and come back next week for next week's episodes.